Okay, now hopefully right now, you should be able to hear my voice. I hope. I really hope. I've been working on this stream. Hang on, you will see my face in just a second. I'm just, I'm messing around with the streaming format. Let's see if I can hear myself on my phone. Okay, now hopefully right now, you should... Ooh, I can. Beautiful. Now, you will see my face. And, if I did this right, you should be able to see the chat in the corner. And it looks like it worked, like a charm. Remember the last stream? So this is my third live I've done this month. I've been messing around with this format. The first live was talking about, what were we talking about? Halloween Party Expo, I believe. And then the second one, we were talking about the new Lowe's stuff. And we dabbled a little bit into the distortion stuff. And now, here we are to talk about Lemax, Spooky Town, which I don't know if it's my favorite of the three, but it's close because I always love talking about Lemax. And really, with some of this stuff, I don't know why I didn't do these discussions live years ago. To do the videos, to edit all of that, and to get it out for you guys in a reasonable time. It can be tricky sometimes in time crunching, so to do it live and for you to be able to go back and rewatch it is always a plus. If you are rewatching this currently, let's say you're not watching it live like the chat is, don't fret. I'm going to put timestamps in the description so you don't have to watch everything that goes on in this. You can kind of scrub to the parts that you want me to talk about. Mac in the past or Mac in the future, depending on how you look at it. But, at any rate, today we are talking about the Lemax Spooky Town. It seems like an overwhelming majority of people, one, wanted me to continue in this live format, and two, simply wanted me to talk about the Lemax stuff, and so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I hope the audio sounds better than it did before, and also I hope the video looks okay. I've been messing around with some of this stuff. As you'll see, I have the cool little Halloween-y background and such. And I have the little... So let's say I had to take a break real quick. I can jump over to, like a transition like this. But I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. It's just kind of a trial thing I've been working around. And then also, of course, I can jump to just me and not have the little background with the chat. It just kind of is in the corner there. But for the openings, I'm thinking this screen looks the coolest because you have all the Halloween-y stuff. It gets you in the vibe, you know. I know it's only February 24th, but it's never too early, as we know. So here we are to discuss the Lemax Spooky Town items for 2024. Now, there are videos of some of these, some of the ones that move with the really annoying stock music, which I muted, so you won't have to worry about any of that. You can just kind of hear my reactions of these. For context, I started collecting the Lemax stuff shortly around the same time I started this channel, which was 2013. So it's been about 11 years of collecting this Lemax stuff and doing my little village display. When I started, my idea was to collect one piece a year. And so, with that being said, factoring in some extra ones, I have around probably 12 or 13 pieces, but I've sold a couple, and I don't use all of them necessarily every year, every season. And so, when I go into the Lemax stuff, my vision is not to grab every single thing, like some collectors may do. My thing is, I just look for the few that really tickle my fancy, you know, rock the coffin, so to speak, and then I jump onto those. Those are the main ones that I go for. And I have set little themes in my Spooky Town, but I'm not really opposed to just getting anything that I think is cool. Last year, I thought was a really solid year for the Lemax stuff. I thought maybe one of their best. And just from an initial look, I think this is a good year. I don't think it's a great year. And I'll explain why. I also should, first and foremost, say that if you're looking for the exclusives, specifically the Michaels exclusives, you're not going to see them in this video. There may be some that will pop up at Michaels stores. But if you're wanting those exclusive pieces, they're not out yet. You're going to have to wait. Probably, I don't know, chat might know, Andrew might know, probably a couple years. A year. I hope you don't have to wait a couple years. Probably a couple months. I would guess maybe next month or early April is my guess. We'll see how right I am when the time comes. But just from little aches and groans and rumors, I think the exclusives will be sweet. And also the straight up pieces we've seen so far are pretty cool, but again, they're varied. So let me pop over to me, and we will jump into this. Now, I do have the website pulled up. I'm going to show you it in just a second. But there are quite a few pieces and mini pieces to go over, and I'll go through everything so you can get a good view of it. If you have any questions, need me to stop, need me to zoom in on something, just let me know. That is the benefit of doing this in a live format, which is pretty exciting. Let's switch on my screen so you can see what I see. Here's my desktop. And as you can see, we have the little picture, Lemax Spooky Town. Amidst dismal decay and dilapidated buildings, the living dead have found a place to rest in pieces in Spooky Town. Yep, that looks about right. There already are some really eye-popping pieces, as you can see, just from the initial onset. And you're going to notice that this year, maybe more than any, there is a huge emphasis on these pumpkin-centric pieces. Or farm kind of pumpkin-y, you know, that rustic, rural kind of flavor, if you will. So, I think that's a really popular theme and all. And one of my favorite things about Lemax is not just sticking to one theme, but more so just kind of shotgun approaching it and giving us a little bit of everything. There was, I don't remember or recall the company that made it, but there is apparently an image floating around of this UFO-styled piece this year that I thought was really cool. And last year, if you remember my goofy video of me going into the Roberts Christmas store near me and purchasing the little UFO that I paid way too much for. I still have it. I still quite like it. I'm glad I got it, but it was expensive. But I like when these village display things dip into the weird stuff and the traditional classics. You kind of need both to make Halloween work. If you had Halloween without any of the creative, unique stuff, it wouldn't be as fun. However, if you didn't have Halloween without the ghosts, the pumpkins, the bats, is it really Halloween? That's a subject of much debate, especially with me. So anyway, here's our backdrop. As you can see, the moon has the 2024 year over it, and all of these pieces. We're going to get into detail with them. Halloween is in only 250 days. Well, at the recording of this, 249 and some change. But man, can you guys and gals and creeps and freaks and geeks believe it? I can. I know what you're thinking, like, 250 days, it's still a long time, hauntformer. Yeah, but think of how fast the already, 110 have gone? Basically half of this. Like that. It's insane. Rush through Christmas. It's already almost March. It feels like it was just the new year. Time is a crazy thing. But at any rate, let's talk about these Lemax Spooky Town pieces. And we're going to start with a heavy swinger here. We're going to start with the Phantom Castle. So the Phantom Castle, as you can see, is this monster-sized amusement park, I guess, or fair-style ride piece. Essentially a roller coaster is what it looks like. And you can see the little roller coaster tracks there, and you have a little drop, and of course the focus of it really is who I'm gonna call the Phantom, just for its namesake. Looks really great. Clearly it's a castle, but I don't think it would fit with your medieval stuff. This you're gonna have to use for the fair kind of things. And yeah, I'm glad I could give Austin a deep lesson about time. Thanks for tuning in. For not just Austin, but for everybody. Yeah, I mean, this one looks really exciting. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. You even have the little bats flying above. You know this is going to get a little bit pricey. I believe there is a video. And it is loading. Whoa, was that loud? Let me turn you down a spell. There.
Looking for a thrill? Look no further. Here you surely will. Come on up. Save yourself the hassle. And tears ride on the Phantom Castle.
Whoa, the transitions! Dang, Lemax, you're spoiling us. I'm going to turn down the audio a little more. First of all, this sounds like the Pirates of the Caribbean music. What the... This is really trying to be epic on me. Yeah, I'm guessing it's like a roller coaster dark ride. But you can see how quickly these people whip over the side? That is definitely going to break over time. Here's the two main things I want to take away from this particular piece. And really, I guess this could be applied, honestly, to all of their pieces. But thank you for the donation, Mr. Spicer Productions. I truly appreciate you. This is the most epic Lemax video of all time. I'm glad I could... this might be the only Lemax video you've seen. But in terms of the Phantom Castle, and really a lot of their pieces you'll see this year, I have two things that are on the forefront of my mind as someone who really digs this stuff. The first is the quality. Especially with the moving pieces, and you're going to be paying a lot for this one, at least $150, $150. When it comes to the Phantom Castle and stuff like it, there's a tendency for the quality to be lacking, especially in the moving parts. For example, my Mad Pumpkin Patch that I display every year, it's a great piece, even though it doesn't work. Everything has stopped working on it. It does not move at all, and I know I've had it for a while, but when you pay a lot for this stuff, you kind of expect a certain quality, and I know that something like this is definitely going to break over time. My second issue, and that's kind of been an issue for a while, this second issue is a bigger thing that I really started thinking about for Christmas, when their Christmas stuff came out. Not that I'm as big into the Christmas stuff as the Halloween, obviously, but I dabble. It looks... I guess this is a gripe more for Halloween, because with Christmas it's okay to be shiny and sleek and clean. But a lot of their stuff of recent looks plasticky, shiny, and just really clean. Like, it looks like the surface of a toy. And I understand that probably a lot of the work that goes into the molding of these behaves like a toy would. But you're not paying toy prices for this stuff. And I think the old way of doing it, the porcelain style with the classic kind of paint jobs, that was the right way to go. And I know they have to manufacture more of this stuff because the hobby's become more popular over the years. But seriously, some of this stuff looks so shiny. And yeah, Phantom Haunter is exactly right in the chat. Lemax is having the same problem that Spirit is having right now. Expensive items are not on par to the quality to match the price. So yeah, that's all just something to consider. But from a design standpoint, this is a really fun piece, and the titular Phantom, I guess, is a showstopper for sure. Clearly, because I also used him in the thumbnail. Hey, so that helps. Now, I believe Dungeon of Terror I'm going to skip. There's a couple I'm going to skip because they were actually Michael's exclusives from last year. If you haven't seen the videos that I did on those last year, be sure to check them out. I actually did them in person. But Dungeon of Terror, Wicked Garden Coven were both from last year. Now we're going to hop over to the Amaze, see what they did there? Zing, Pumpkin Patch. This is one that has generated quite a bit of a stir because I have seen, at least in the circles that I'm a part of, and some of those do include the Lemax ones, and I guess the village collecting at large. I've seen a lot of controversy with this, which is kind of funny because it's a Lemax piece, but I've seen a lot of people praising this, and I've seen a lot of people hating on it. I suppose I'm somewhere in the middle, but I want you to take a look at this real quick. So the design is awesome, and I think the concept is awesome. It's a corn maze, and corn mazes work perfectly for Halloween. I wish I could go to more corn mazes. We don't have as many in Florida, unfortunately, but every time I've gone, it's just been a really awesome fall vibe experience, and they're really quite creepy too. I actually wrote a scary story about a corn maze. But this piece is really unique, and the pumpkin guy that's, you know, kind of crouched over the building is really fun. I quite like the design of it. But if you look, take a look at it, and you see, you know, just kind of look at the colors and notice the shine. Can you see the shininess of the kind of piece? Look at the base. You see how it's all that, like, one single tone of paint? It looks just like plastic. It doesn't quite look like a porcelain village piece to me. It looks too much like a collector toy or like a Lego almost. And it's not just the base necessarily. I know Lego fan mentioned that it has a plastic base, and that's fine with me. The base I don't really care as much about, but the pieces, the hay bales, the corn stalks themselves, even the building up here just looks more plasticky than how their pieces usually look. And it's not that this piece is bad, it's just a concern of mine is all. Especially, again, for the prices you're going to pay. Now, a few people have mentioned they don't like the pumpkins on the back. And I suppose you could take them off. I actually don't really mind them. I think that's okay, but I do think it's a little silly for the theming. This kind of piece strikes me as like a little hometown display, and so to have these pumpkin creatures flying in the back is a little weird. But I do agree with Grim Productions in the chat. Very bright colors. Everything looks neat and perfect. Halloween should be sloppy and gritty in its own way. And again, perhaps that's just the nature of my taste. I like Halloween to be more gritty. And I feel like a lot of people that like the Lemax stuff, God bless them, but they do like kind of a cleaner look, because this isn't something that goes into like a haunted house or outside. This is something that's going to go, I assume, in the forefront of your home, and you don't want your home to look all nasty. So I do understand that to an extent. Phantom Author says, off topic, but what I really enjoy about Lemax is the idea of it being like building your own mini haunt on the table. That's true, and that's, I think, why I love these pieces. So let's take a look at the building. Ben says that it looks better in the banner picture, so I will check that picture out.
The amazing pumpkin patch, the ninth wonder of, well, someplace. Hey there! No! Really, there's hay there! Watch out!
Can you see what's out there? Just a bunch of people wandering around. Look what that one's wearing. It's sunglasses season.
Okay, those popping up things... Those popping up things are really neat, but they also are going to break. They move way too fast. It's going to break very easily. And if you're joining like John is now, the recap is we're talking about the Lemax stuff. We just looked at the Phantom Castle, and now we're looking at the amazing Pumpkin Patch.
Such curious.
I love those eyes. I think this is my favorite part, the eyes inside of the stalks.
Congratulations.
This is kind of a thing, as a few people are talking about in the chat, and I guess I should address it every time with Lemax, but it always comes back, because when I watch these videos, it just reaffirms it to me. I've never liked their voice actors that much. I think they used to have some good voice actors back in the day. All their stuff now sounds, one, really annoying, and I would never keep the sound on. I think the gold standard of Lemax audio design is with something like my Withered Mansion. I have creaking noises, flashes of lightning and thunder sounds, meowing cats, ambiance, whatever you want to call it. The talking, the constant running of the mouth, verbal diarrhea, it's just not cutting it for me. And for those people who don't love these flying guys, unfortunately, they have lines.
Can you see what's out there? Just a bunch of people wandering.
That sounds like Annoying Orange. What the heck?
Bunch of people wandering around.
Yeah, okay, so I like this one more than the castle, believe it or not, just because I really like the corn maze aesthetic, but the audio is really annoying, and it's definitely going to break. This is going to be a really popular piece, though, because I know them Lemax collectors, they eat up the pumpkin stuff, and I think this is going to be a really good seller. The pumpkin stuff and the trick-or-treat street neighborhood things tend to go pretty quickly. But that is, that is the amazing Pumpkin Patch. Black Raven Manor is one of the best soundtracks. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, it does sound like Annoying Orange. So, let's check it out in there. Okay, it does look a lot less plasticky in this picture. And again, this might be just the nature of how they do their photography. But it is something to take note of. Okay, up next we have the Haunted Hotel Haven. In this one, I have a few things I would like to say. But first, let's play the video, just so you know what it is.
Need a safe place to slumber during the day? Follow the flights of the Black Raven and find your way to the Haunted Hotel Haven.
Well, you get the gist. I'm not going to play the entire audio. Alright, let's talk about this one. I've talked about this one a little bit extensively with my buddy Jaden's videos, and I don't know how much I've talked to Andrew, if Andrew's videos is still in the chat, about this. And I think a lot of Halloween people will agree here, I think hotels are one of the most spooky places ever. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because people are always in and out, and there happens to be a lot of accidents and deaths at hotels. And the fact that you don't stay there for a long time, just a little bit of time, they're very weird places. But hotels have always been super creepy. A lot of horror movies are about haunted hotels. To me, though, as much as I am fond of the creepy hotel thing, this does not look like a creepy hotel. This looks like a normal hotel with a few creepy things. Like, if you took away the tentacle, which is, I think, my favorite part of this. The tentacle is just really cool. If you take away the tentacle, the skeletons, and honestly just the rotating little few characters down there, I wouldn't even consider this Halloween-y at all. It's not even dark or, like, gloomy looking. And again, that might be because of the lighting to get these, shots for their website. But I don't know, just from an initial viewing, if I put this alongside something like the Withered Mansion or like the library from a few years ago, or even last year, the House of Shadows, it just doesn't fit alongside a lot of their other things. It looks too contemporary as well, like a modern hotel. I do like the kind of like Tower of Terror reference here with the dropping elevator is fun. And like I said, there are things I enjoy about it. The monsters, the tentacles, even that light up there, the purple. But overall, I don't know. It's not doing it for me. And it's probably going to be pretty pricey. I just don't see how this is going to fit in a lot of displays. But that is the Haunted Hotel Haven. And also, and I hate to be a stickler, but for being a haunted hotel, why is there an octopus tentacle? Like, what does that have to do with anything? It's just very random. Like, a haunted hotel should have ghosts, maybe some corpses or skeletons, sure. But a tentacle? Again, as much as I love the weird tentacle alien and sea monster stuff, it just doesn't fit with this. That one, to me, is a weird misfire. But okay. Okay, Lemax. Let's take a look at the next thing. Okay, so someone said in the chat, it's a hotel. Grim Productions says it's a hotel decorated for Halloween, not a haunted hotel. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. But again, for it being decorated for Halloween, you would think they'd have string lights and jack-o'-lanterns and confetti and whatever just to get the point across. But it really isn't that decorated, unfortunately. Yeah, I would say buy something better for the price that you'd pay. Yeah, $140. Yeah. Okay, this one I honestly haven't taken a huge look at. This is the Mortuary Makeovers. And this is a little bit of a funny one, which I like those, honestly, because Halloween's always been a little bit funny. This is like a designer mortician, like get your, deluxe coffin. I think that's pretty funny. And, wow. Boner Jams, $20. You're very kind. You didn't have to donate that much, but I really appreciate you. This isn't the hairy big toe knuckle chat room. My man H-Former, what's going on? What's going on, dude? Always enjoy a live stream. Looking forward to see what 2024 has in store for the channel. I am also in store too. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hey, same to you, Boner Jams. I always appreciate you showing up and supporting the streams. It really does mean a lot, and I'm with you. I'm really excited to see what this year has to offer and what the channel will do. I've been trying to think of new, fun, exciting things to share with you guys, so stay tuned. But at any rate, one of the things I really like are these live streams because I really get to connect with the people in the chat that when I post a video, I can't ordinarily do, by virtue of the medium. I just have to leave comments. But this is fun. So at any rate, the Back in Style Mortuary, as it's called on the sign, or the Mortuary Makeovers, looks like a fun piece. Here it is from the side. And from the other side. Got kind of a neon thing going on. Okay, now... Okay, it doesn't have a soundtrack, so I'm just going to go ahead and mute it. You know, I like the lighting on it. I think it pops, which is good. And I like those zombies in there. I think it's a fun idea. I really do. But I don't know, it's nothing that I would write home about. I would say it's a clever idea. It's kind of like the werewolf haircutting place. Clever idea, but the execution isn't wowing me. It's just fine. It's just fine. And I guess that's okay. But that's basically all I can say about the Mortuary Makeovers. And sometimes, honestly, in person, my opinions change. So we'll have to see if something wows me when I see this either at the Roberts store or at Michael's or wherever it may be. Yeah, let's keep going. Haunted Estates, I believe, was also at Michael's last year, so we can skip it. And now we can move on to Haunted Attraction. Now, just to, spoil it a bit, this is not a haunted attraction like a ride or an amusement park attraction. This is like a monster dating place. Haunted Attraction, monster matchmaking agency from gnomes to giants. Over 200 clients. Oh, it rhymes. Okay, that's funny. This one's a good idea, too. And honestly, aesthetically, I think I like it more than the previous one. I like the color scheme a lot. It's very muted and very green and gray, which I do like that aesthetic to begin with. But it makes the heart stuff kind of pop on it. It isn't too over the top. It isn't too crazy. It's just fun. And you can see the little monsters having a date there. It's nothing insane. This will be a cheaper piece for sure. Probably around $60, I would imagine. It's just a lit porcelain house. Or an on-off switch or whatever. There's gory inventory. I don't know, that's a fun one. I don't think, again, it's anything to write home about, but it's good. It's clever, and sometimes you can't, not every house can be this huge elaborate thing with 40 things spinning around. Sometimes you need the little filler pieces that are just a solid, lit building, and I think this is a good one. Also, shout out to Gnomes. I think Gnomes and the weird woodland creatures don't get enough credit for Halloween, and they are fun monsters. For sure. Here we go with another one that's going to sell out really quick, I'm pretty sure. The Pumpkin Hollow Motel. Let's see if we can get a video going for this guy. I believe there's a soundtrack. Let's see. No soundtrack. So, what we're looking at here is a motel, hence the name, made out of pumpkins. That's basically the essence of this. I have seen a few people complain that it's just too weird or hard to use because the pumpkin stuff is all very attraction-based in terms of, like, it's a farm with a big pumpkin, and this is just a motel that's made out of pumpkins. It's not a normal motel, and it's not just a normal pumpkin thing. It's a weird hodgepodge of the two. But honestly, I think it's rather fun. Again, it has the little gripe I had with the other one, with the amazing one, and that is that it looks very shiny. But I will cut this one a bit more slack because the predominant thing here are pumpkins, and they usually are shiny anyway. So that's fine to me. I think the lighting's really good. I like the theming. I like the sign quite a bit and the little pumpkin guy there. This is overall a pretty good piece. I don't know if I like it as much as the corn maze by sheer virtue of the corn maze being a really ingenious thing. But if your display has to deal with a bunch of pumpkin stuff, a lot of orange especially, and you have a lot of leaves and pumpkin patches, this would be a perfect piece to accent all of that. I really think it would bring that together, and it's fun. I could see them making more pieces just built out of pumpkins. That would be pretty cool to me. Also, thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you, Digital Pumpkin Cat. And everyone who's tuned in, even when this isn't live, I know a lot of people rewatch this stuff, and that truly means a lot from future Mac, as well as me right now. But, all of that to say, the Pumpkin Hollow Motel is a pretty sweet piece. I quite like it. I don't know if it's something that I need necessarily for my display, but it's definitely better than several of these, and it's fun to see the pumpkin stuff. This one is strange. Because, honestly, and it just happened to me again, when I was going through the list right now to open up the picture of this one, which is called the Candy Witch Cottage, I thought I was looking at a Christmas piece. And that's because this is a witch hut made out of candy. Now, yes, I hear you saying, before you even have time to say it, candy is 100% a Halloween thing. I'm not, attributing it solely to Christmas. It does have a haunted tree as well, and it does have a witch. I think the weird thing is, see the, lace up there with the icing? And just all around it, all of that icing. It looks a lot like snow, and it looks like a big gingerbread house, which, again, I know it's made out of candy, but that screams Christmas more than it screams Halloween. Not that it's bad. I think it's actually really well detailed. And yeah, like Lego Fan mentioned, kind of like a Hansel and Gretel type of house. But that doesn't change the fact that it can be a bit jarring. It also has grass at the bottom, which again, if you're going for the fall vibe, it may be a little bit hard to pair. Okay, let's mute the music again. Here's the video. I do like the tree quite a bit, and I like the idea of this. Again, I'm not crazy about the witch stuff in general, but I thought the witch one from last year was a step in the right direction. And this isn't a wrong one, it's just a weird one, and I'd be curious to see how people use this in their Halloween display. It also could be pretty interesting because there have been so many candy pieces for Christmas that, quite honestly, you could use some of those gingerbread candy ones with this piece. You could use some of your Christmas stuff with this particular piece. So I think that'd be interesting to see how that plays out in a village. But again, it's very bright, very shiny, a completely different vibe. But you know what? As much as I am a little turned off by the notes of Christmas here, I must attest that I always favor originality, and because this is so different, I have to, at least in some way, applaud it. So yeah. Yeah, something to save for a spooky Christmas, as Jessica said, definitely. 100%. And I would love to not only live in this piece, as Digital Pumpkin Cat said, but I would also 100% eat it if it wasn't made out of, porcelain and plastic. But a cool one, a fun one, for sure. This could be an interesting transition piece to get to Christmas. In fact, if you had a village, let's say you had your Halloween village, and then you had this piece, and then right next to it, the gingerbread stuff, you could have a pretty seamless transition between the holidays. I'd like to see if that could be done. Lemax made figurines of trick-or-treaters running away and screaming. It would be great with that piece. I totally agree, Andrew. It definitely gives off, as Lego Fan said, the Hansel and Gretel type of deal. Okay, up next, the Terror Tavern. Let's check this one out. This is another lit porcelain piece. I haven't looked at this one a ton, so I'll be honest. Right away, it has a very kind of catching color scheme. Red and green, and kind of like beige. Growlers, howlers, and prowlers. Nice. All of my favorite people are at the Terror Tavern. You have the cool little zombie head on the sign, gargoyles, ghosts, and a skeleton vampire. Nice, nice, nice. There's the other side, a bit more plain. Alright. Nothing crazy. They've done a lot of tavern stuff, so this is not the first of its kind. But again, you need a solid, lit building. I might prefer the dating one for its originality, but I think this is perfectly acceptable. They always have a few of these every year, and this one isn't anything horribly offensive. It just isn't a really exciting one to talk about. It's just kind of there. But the Terror Tavern. And again, sometimes those kind of ones, as Ben mentioned, do tend to grow on you over time. Wicked Wigs was from last year, but it was a fun piece, but we already talked about it. So let's move on to Medusa's Main Magic. Say that 10 times fast. Medusa's Main Magic, Medusa's Main Magic, Medusa's Main Magic, Medusa's Main Magic. Maybe it wasn't as hard as I thought, but seemed like it'd be a tongue twister. Here is another lit building with an on-off switch. It's LED lights. Okay, so it's not just a bulb. They've been switching to that a lot, which is preferred, really. So, what we have here, Eternal Hold. Oh, it's supposed to be a thing of hairspray. Okay, that's funny. And, you can't really have a hair thing if not for Medusa. That kind of works really well. Theming's fun. You have a lot of snakes on the building. Of course, you have the black cat and the jack-o'-lantern and everything. I quite like the Medusa on the sign. Again, this is another solid lit building piece. The theming is a little more funny, so if you like kind of the funnier type of things, this could work pretty darn well. It's good. I think, like Viral J Forever mentioned, Medusa is kind of an underused monster. I've never been crazy about Medusa, but I think the concept of like the hair with the snakes and also turning the stone is a fun idea. And again, I always allow creativity to triumph here. It may not be my cup of tea necessarily, but I think it's a fun idea. That is Medusa's Main Magic. Slithering Gardens. I think this is new. It has notes that remind me of one from last year, but I do believe that it is new. It does have a video to go along with it. Right off the bat, I'll say this. Right off the bat, it looks very Valentine's Day. And what I mean is, it's got a lot of red and purple. The red accents of the roses, and then the purple lighting. But it does have some very big snakes. Definitely beware of the snakes, especially if you're Indiana Jones. It's got a gazebo. It's got the little house there. I'm guessing, there's a greenhouse in there too. Very interesting. I don't know how I feel about the skull with the roses on it. That one's a little weird. That kind of gives me a little Day of the Dead flair, which is fine if you do that theme, but because I don't, it might seem like a bit of a contrast. There is a video to go with this one, so let's check it out. The eyes of the skull glow. That's pretty cool. Oh, and the heart glows too, so this is a bit of a romantic one. And it looks like they're dipping into that theme a little more heavy this year. You have the dating agency that I mentioned, and now you have this one. So you could kind of have a little corner in your Lemax town of this kind of gothic romance thing going on. Quite interesting. What do you guys feel about that? I want to make a prediction. I could be wrong about this, but maybe someone in the chat knows. When I see kind of a theme thing going on, it rings Michael's. Like, I have a feeling that both of those are going to be at Michael's. Could be wrong. Sue me. Don't sue me. But I think that they may be at Michael's. It seems like a Michael-y thing to do. Especially considering that just like last year or the year before, Michael's did that whole gothic romance thing. And sometimes they connect their Spooky Town display to their home decor displays. So, always a possibility here. But yeah, there's the romance vibes, for sure. That is the Slithering Gardens. We are just cranking through these. I don't even know how many more we have. It looks like we're getting down to the wire here, folks. We are getting down to the wire. Up next, because I mentioned it, so of course, you know, invoke the devil's name and he will appear, or whatever. I mentioned Day of the Dead, and here we have a Day of the Dead house. And you know what I gotta say? They've done a lot of Day of the Dead stuff, but have they ever really done a Day of the Dead full house? I don't think so. I could be wrong. But this one's really fun, actually. I don't do the Day of the Dead thing. Not that I'm opposed to the holiday, Dia los Muertos. It's just not a thing that's very popular in the States, unfortunately. I know it's very big in Mexico and a lot of South America, but this is a neat building. And if you're into the Day of the Dead colors and aesthetic, it really does capture it. It's an emporium of all of the Dia los Muertos stuff. And you can see it's kind of all throughout it. It's even got like little doors on the side. Let's check out the video. If you're someone who likes that theme, this is like a must-have for you then, because this is really one of the few where they actually do it. Yeah, there's the tattoo place, which kind of had a Day of the Dead feel, so if you got that one, this one would go really well with it. I do like kind of the big candle and stuff, and the skull in the window. You know, this is a pretty fun piece, I gotta say. They really nailed kind of that Mexican Latin architecture and kind of the paint scheme going on. This is a really neat piece. And I never thought I would say that for a Day of the Dead piece, but for what it is, just judging on what it is, they did a good job. They did a good job, Lemax. It's not something that I think I'll get, but I really do like those cutouts at the top. That is cool. I guess the Day of the Dead stuff's getting pretty popular because they have a lot of this kind of romantical skeleton stuff, and that really is the same flair. Yeah, it does kind of look like a Mexican restaurant. You are definitely right, John. Okay. Broken Bell. Was that from... I think that's new. I think that's the last... Well, no. We have this one, too. We have a couple more to get through. Okay, we have a couple more. I thought we were running out of content here, but we're doing pretty good. And what are we at now? We're all at 50 minutes. 50 minutes of Lemax stuff. I think we can get a little over an hour. We'll see how we do. We also have the mini pieces to talk about as well. Yeah, Day of the Dead animatronic would be intriguing. I'd be very curious to see how they would pull that off. Maybe with a guitar or something. This is a cool one. This is the Broken Bell Telephone Company. I think when I first saw this, I wasn't crazy about it, but it's like some of those pieces that kind of grow on you. This is a giant, like, phone, like an old rotary phone holder. And you can see that very clearly from the side up there with the little holster, and right there. I love all the ghosts on it. You have the phone itself on the ground, you know, with the cord coming out of the window. I love the owl on the electrical pole. All really nice. Let's take a look at the video. I love the purple lights, too. I'm a sucker for the purple and greens, especially, which Lemax seems to dip into with a heavy toe. Yeah, I love that with the rotary up there. That is really neat. The Broken Bell Telephone Company. Cool font, by the way. I didn't know if anyone knew this, but I have a thing with fonts. I don't know why, but I do. Oh, and there's the guy. Oh, doing the stuff. Okay, I see. He's doing like the phone line type of deal. I like, too, that this is more of that analog. The word is not analog, but that's the word that's coming to my head. That kind of analog vintage phone thing as opposed to cell phones, like a more modern smartphone thing. This is more of that classic rotary phone thing. It even has the phone line kind of cable coming out there with the pole. That's neat. I do enjoy that one. When I first saw it, I don't think I was as crazy about it, but looking at it now, that is a really fun piece. Yeah, it's they could have even called it the Dead Line or something. Oh yeah, Deadline. Like he was trying to meet his deadline in there. There's something in there. But yeah, this is one of the better ones from the year. That one's pretty exciting. The Broken Bell Telephone Company. Alright, well, Bigfoot Brewhouse we saw last year. I believe Pumpkin Patch Party is new, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a lit building. And it kind of looks like a hut, which is funny. The colors aren't overtly spooky. I mean, the pumpkin is, but the rest of it, like if I just showed you this part, minus that bird up there, the crow, it kind of just looks like a tiki hut. And then you move down and it's this pumpkin jack-o'-lantern. It's technically a cottage, I suppose. It's neat. It's nothing crazy. It's just kind of there. It's maybe one of my least impressive things from this year. But, you know, it's simple. It's simple, and it's a good filler piece, as they've been making... well, they made them, especially last year, several, and now this year. I don't know if the witch tree is new. It looks a lot like the one from last year. I think it's slightly different, but it's very similar to the witch cottage. It's got to be very small. That was the only funny thing about those. They're so small that it's bizarre. But there it is. The witch hut. I like the architecture and kind of the cobblestone look of the building. But, you know, it's just, it is what it is. Yeah, it's more of a kid-friendly thing. And I will give, John said that pumpkin one didn't look as shiny, and he's right, as some of the other ones. Here we have Gentleman Ghoul's Treats. Let's check out that one. Oh, I do like the guy there. The guy there with the candy bowl is nice. The house also has a cool kind of look to it, but it's, again, nothing really that exciting. It's just kind of a house. And again, it's probably going to be rather small. These are those new cottages. They started this, like, line last year. And it's nothing offensive, really. It just is what it is. It's just... These are like $40 each, and for 20 more bucks, you can get a much better piece as the ones we talked about above. Yeah, they're just kind of the same size. More of a rehashing than anything. Now we're dipping into some of the little figurines, so bear with me. We won't go too much into any of them unless there's something really exciting to disclose. Brooms to go. Okay, I get it, like rooms to go. Very funny, ha ha ha. If the broom fits, ride it. Yeah, I guess why not? Neat little one. If you do the witch thing, that's kind of a funny little one. Okay, this one's cool. I'm into this one. Again, I like me the creepy stuff. This is the creepy tree. It even looks like it's got a screaming face right there. Ooh, I really dig that. That is nice. That's nice. Now that's creepy. I like the black color of it, that very dark color with the green accent, and it kind of goes with the base as well. Very solid piece. I really like that accessory. That is exactly what the accessory should be like. Here we have Frank's Treats. Okay, here's another one of the little cottage houses. This is the Frankenstein house. It's very bright. This one's more of a family-friendly one. Again, nothing really to write home about, but it's got the Frankenstein monster on there, which, you know, who doesn't love good old Frank? And then right next to it, this one's a little more intriguing because banshees, like Medusa and many other monsters, don't get enough love. So this is kind of cool. This is the Banshee's house. But again, it kind of makes the Banshee look silly when she's holding a candy dish. Not really the same thing going on here, but there she is and there her house is, nevertheless. Just kind of another one of these houses. I almost treat them as an accessory at this point because they're like a filler piece. You just kind of fill in the thing. Yeah, it could just go by a facade more or less because they look like, as Andrew said, houses in the distance. Here is another tree. They tend to do trees every now and again. This one's actually, if you notice, in the wide shot here. This is the evil spooky tree, and it almost looks like it's wearing a type of mask. I don't think it is. I think that's just the paint job. But evil spooky tree is both evil looking and spooky, so I gotta give them credit for the name. I do think I prefer the look of the other tree, not just because of the lighting effect, but I just think it overall had a more creepy look. This one's very whimsical, which is not a bad thing, but it just kind of is what it is. But that's the evil tree. Dungeon Cart, I believe, was last year, but the fairy on the river sticks is new. And if you know the whole thing about the legend of the river Styx, that it's kind of this boat ride to death, really. And it looks like there's, like, what are those coming out of the water? Mermaids or sea monsters or something? That's quite creepy. That is really creepy. Does it say what those are? Bizarre creatures together with the Grim Reaper. Okay, so I'm not really... But of course you have the Grim Reaper himself kind of leading this voyage and these things coming out of the water. This is actually a really neat piece. I didn't really look at this one before. But that's good. The difficult thing, I guess, with this one is where would you put it? Because it's on the water, you'd have to put it in a water area. But I like that. Yeah, you have these, like, sea monster type hands coming out of the water, whatever those may be. And yeah, I'm assuming it might be going by the Dungeon of Terror, or you could use it for any of your other nautical-based ones. Let's keep going. We're getting down to the line. We have just reached an hour, so thank you to everyone who's been tuned in and watching. I really appreciate all of you. Here is the Monster Marshmallow Roast. So again, you have these trick-or-treaters and this jack-o'-lantern with the fire. That is such a core spooky memory of mine. Telling ghost stories around the fire is just such a great thing. I hope more kids get to do that, really, because it's a lot of fun. But this one's cool. I love that the fire is coming out of a jack-o'-lantern. Makes it different, and it's very nostalgic. I think that will be a pretty good seller. A lot of people really like the nostalgia with the Lemax stuff. Here we have the Witches Community Garden. So this one, I feel like will also be at Michael's. They love their gardening stuff, which I can't really oppose because I enjoy like the weird plant and, you know, fantasy stuff. But you have the gnome here, of course, and these three witches with their garden. Got some mushrooms in there, pumpkins, of course. All very nice. A good accessory piece. And I'm sure that one would go well with that garden one, the romantical garden we saw earlier, among other, you know, garden-themed pieces. Grime and Slime we saw before. I believe we're getting down to the smaller pieces here, but this, obviously, is to go with the corn maze. But this may also be my favorite, unless a different one down there changes this. This might be my favorite of the accessory pieces, because it's got the eyes from that piece, but you don't have to spend all your money on that big piece if you want that effect but don't want the whole thing. Because this is a wall of corn stalks with the eyes looking out and the scarecrows. That is great. That is so innately Halloween. I do love that. That is really cool. And a really good accessory. That is sweet. Look at that. I love it. I love it. These accessory pieces are really strong this year. As is this one. This one is really cool because it's like the whole... Is this a kit or does this come with the base? Might be the entire thing, which is really impressive. Look at the angels on there, even the cherubim, or however you want to pronounce it. Oh my gosh. For someone looking to, like, just boom, have a cemetery, boom, have a cemetery. I love that. That is a great accessory. You know, it, like, I think Ben summed it up really well. While you may have some disagreements about the pieces, this is a great year for accessories. Evident by the next three, which are all killer plants. I love killer plants. I think they're one of the best monsters, hands down. And we don't get enough love for the killer plants. And here we have a big smorgasbord of 5 different plants. How awesome is that? I love all of these. They're a little more cartoony. Honestly, they kind of look like Muppets. But they're fun. Here is another killer plant one. That is quite creepy. I like that. I like the flowers and the rose especially. Keep on the path. Very nice. And the cool thing is, because it's surrounded by the brick, you could put it in the middle of your spooky town or even a walkway because it acts as like a median, so to speak. I really dig that. This one, though, this could potentially also be the best accessory. Either this or that corn maze one. This is great. I love that. Wow. It even, I don't think it's supposed to be blood, but it even looks gory because of the red accenting on the plants. Whoa, look at that. That is genuinely creepy. Again, I guess there's definitely Audrey 2 vibes from Little Shop here. But at any rate, I'm always ready for more plant stuff. Plants by themselves are so weird and cool, but they are a little creepy. Like, even the ones that aren't trying to eat and kill you. Then you add on the fact that they're trying to eat and kill you, and then it becomes legitimately terrifying. That one's very scary. That one might be one of the scariest ones. This is probably a definite pickup for me. Just because I have the Garden of Eden already, and I love the plant stuff. And now I think we're getting to a couple of little ones. Here's a trick-or-treating one with a person handing out treats to a dog and to some kids. Very nice. Here's costumed companions. What I do like about this one, actually, I mean, you have the dogs, of course, but I like that she's dressed up like a plant, he's dressed up like a frog. It could almost go with the plant stuff as a joke, almost. Like, she's dressed like a plant, but there's literally a killer plant, like, behind her. That's kind of funny. But, it's just costumed people. They have to round out their collection with a couple of those every year. Here you have spooky tree trunks. Again, really solid. I like the light-up eyes for both of those. I think the big tree still takes the cake, but that one's really good too. Here is horrid headstones. Okay, this one's funny. You have a witch hat on top of a Ouija board-looking headstone with a black cat. Then you have Ichabod Crane, lost his head. Rip Ichabod Crane, wherever he may be now, not in Sleepy Hollow anymore. And Captain Jack, which is funny, but I love that tombstone with the shark. That is really great. Reminds me of the Jaws poster, of course, but very cool. Skull Stew Cauldron. We are just whipping through these. Not a whole lot to say. Ooh, the hand coming out. Ooh, that is messed up. That's pretty dark, honestly, for Lemax. But you know what? I'm for it. I'm fine with it. Let's keep the weird, creepy stuff going. This one would go good with the hay bale and the corn maze stuff. This is the Crow Club. Very nice. I really like that. It says Happy Halloween. A little hokey, but if you take the mindset that this is an attraction, then they probably would have a corn, hay bale that says Happy Halloween on it. Now, I can't remember if this one's returning or not. This is the Pumpkin Snowman. I think this is a new Pumpkin Snowman. And I had the same weird head scratch with this one as I did with the previous ones. Just like, cool, but like, what would I do with it? It just seems too weird of the Christmas Halloween crossover. I do think it would go good with that candy one by the virtue of that very notion. The crossover between the two holidays is intriguing. Alright, we're still going. There's actually quite a bit of accessories. This is nuts. This is insane. Here is the garbage truck, Spooky Town garbage truck. That is sick. Alright, I love the cars and stuff. I already have one of the trucks. Kind of the more rural pumpkin patch style truck. But this is so cool. The teeth up there really remind me of the movie Maximum Overdrive, which I talked about in Haunttober, I believe. Great underrated movie, but it deals with killer vehicles. And I love this one. So far, we have, well, like you guys have said, and I might have to go on record saying this too, the best accessory year ever. But between that tree, the maze, the plants, and the truck, like, that's like all stuff that I want. That has never happened before. And here are even more cool tombstones. You have the snake one, Miss Kitty, Vlad Vampire, yeah. Oh, with a question mark for the death date because it's still alive. That's awesome. All of this stuff is really well done in the accessory department. Here's the Spooky Town Gazette with all of the newspaper stuff. I really do like that, too. Oh, and even the Frankenstein monster little newsstand. This, so you have to have your village pieces, of course, the buildings. But if you don't have these little accessories, it doesn't feel as full. You really need all of this stuff to make the village work. And that's great. Here's our carnival barker for the carnival pieces. Step right up if you dare, but it's a werewolf. That's interesting. I don't know what this would go with this year, unless I'm forgetting something, or if this is a hint as to some exclusives, perhaps? I don't know, but you could use this for either werewolf things or any of your carnival stuff. A lot of possibilities. Here are the dating... Oh, Barker. I should have got that like 5 seconds ago. I'm so sorry. That's a good joke, Lemax. Here's the bride and the monster with the flowers. Again, would go great with the romance one. Oh yeah, this could go with the roller coaster. That's right. Good eye, Andrew. Good eye. Or good memory, really. I can't even remember all the stuff because there's so many accessories this year. Oh my gosh. Monster Date Night, another one with the bride and the monster. With popcorn. That's really fun too. Maybe that's the theme this year. Monster Date Night. Like, they go from the dating agency to the garden and then to the amusement park, maybe, because they have popcorn. I don't know if that's a story going on. I don't know if I'm just picking up on that because I'm looking for a narrative here, but that would be an interesting one. Oh, Hitchhikers. Oh, Hitchhikers Zombies? Oh my gosh. And look, the suitcases in the coffin. The dead zombie dog. And that could go, you could make a joke of that with the garbage truck going by because they're corpses, so they go in the garbage truck. Oh my gosh. Wow. So, again, as I'm going to say again, the houses may not be the cream of the crop. I think last year's were really good. This year's are good, but some of them could be better. But these accessories are making up for it. This may be the accessory year of all time. Here is the Crow Mother. Okay, so like a scarecrow woman. Neat. Really neat. I like the detailing on her. She's got a lot of great detail on her face and with the crows and everything. Man, we're still going through all these accessories. That is insane. Here is Spooky Service. Oh, he kind of looks like Michael Myers. That's a little weird. But again, I think this guy's supposed to go with the hotel. Or any hotel that you have, really. With the cart and with the champagne on ice or whatever. And, I mentioned before, the luggage cart. How many more things? Okay, so we're basically at the end here. But let's look through. You have the broom parking. Oh, meter maid with the... That's funny, okay, with the... That goes good with the rental. See, it all comes full circle for Lemax. Really nice. Here's the Scarecrow signpost. Tricks and treats. Really good. I like the kind of more bright colors on him. Those would work really well. I'm sorry. He would work really well for all of those houses. The little mini ones that we were talking about before. And then finally, last but certainly not least, the come on in and carve up a good time. You have the skeleton on the tombstone, the Pumpkin Patch Ghoul. Not to be overlooked, however, are their adapters, which are important, and, more interesting, these LED bulbs. A black one, excuse me, a purple, and a green. Which, the implication here is pretty obvious. You can switch out the lights now and add any of these spooky colors to it. Either black, purple, or green. Or maybe that's supposed to be a white bulb. I can't really tell, but... Man! Ladies and gentlemen, the Lemax roster for 2024. So far, this isn't even the exclusives yet, and the exclusives get even more crazy, so be prepared to have your socks literally flying away, like little bats. A recap, I'm just going to go through them again, real quick. Phantom Castle is quite neat. Amazing pumpkin patch, I really love the theming on it. Hotel... The hotel could be better, I think. It just doesn't look Halloween-y enough. Even if it's not actually haunted and decorated, it needs some more sprucing up. Mortuary Makeover is fine. Nothing crazy, but fine. We have the dating agency to go with the romance kind of vibe. Pumpkin Hollow Motel may be one of the most popular for this year. The Candy Witch Cottage is kind of a weird, like, Christmas Halloween blend. Terror Tavern and the Medusa's Main Magic are both ones that I think are good ways to fill out your scene without buying the really, really expensive ones. Same could be said for Slytherin Gardens, which goes with the romance. And also, the Day of the Dead is a perfect one for you Day of the Dead fans out there. I love the Broken Bell. It's really growing on me. And then you have the Pumpkin Patch Party, the Witch's Treats, blah, 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 blah. Looking at the Frank's Treats and the Banshee Treats. These are all like little houses that are great for accent points in your village. And then we have maybe the most exciting roster of accessories that I have seen. This may be Lemax's best year for accessories, unless someone wants to challenge that, which I'm open to. But between the tree and another tree, the fairy, the plants, the graveyard, the scarecrows, this plant, which is absolutely awesome, these trees, these headstones, which are great, the garbage truck, which I love, the Gazette stuff, even the carnival barker, the hitchhikers, the service guy, oh my gosh, and even the lights that you can customize. I don't think this can be topped, frankly. That is wild. Man. What a great year to be a collector of this stuff, am I right? Or am I right? Now, Ben said, I'm going to switch to this mode for a second. I'll have the chat in the corner. Ben said if I go to my channel, or go to their channel, excuse me, there is an unreleased piece that may be an exclusive. Is it the Cursed Ruins, Ben? Is that the one we're talking about? If so, I will pop it up on the screen real quick. I believe Ben was referring to this piece right here. The Cursed Ruins. I don't know if it has a... It does have a soundtrack. Okay. Oh, I love the candle stuff on there. That soundtrack, that's, I don't love the music usually, but that is pretty cool music. Ooh, those eyes are really creepy. And it's misting out of the nose, it looks like. And then I guess you put water in there. That would go really good with that cave one from a few years ago. When you even have the, like the soldier standing guard there. Okay, so I'm guessing that's an exclusive of some kind, the Cursed Ruins. But check that out. That is neat. I like how the jaw is like the entire base. That is really fun too. So even a leaked exclusive, potentially. Yeah, it's like a Castle Grayskull kind of thing. Even the leaked exclusive is awesome. Wow. That's really something, ladies and gentlemen. What a great year. So, in the chat, real quick, I want you to comment your favorite building thus far. You can count Cursed Ruins. And your favorite accessory. You can also leave a straight-up comment once this stream is over, but for the sake of the stream and the sake of people rewatching it, go ahead and leave a comment as to your favorite piece and your favorite accessory. And while you're doing that, I'm going to try to figure out mine. I don't even know at this point. Man. Well, in terms of favorite piece, it either will be the Broken Bell, but I don't know, it may, for as much as I kind of was making fun of the shininess of it, I'm a sucker for the corn maze thing, and this is just a really neat one. I do think it will break very easily, but not factoring in price or my budget, just in terms of what one's cool, this one is very cool. And I think it's going to be a really good seller. I don't honestly even mind the floating little guys back there, but I know some people do. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good year for us Halloween fans. In terms of accessories, I think the tree is great, but we have seen trees like it. And the fairy's really cool. I'm just not sure of where I'd put it. Cemetery's great. This one would go really good with that piece. I think, though, my favorite accessory is between this garbage truck, because I love this rustic, you know, aesthetic. Or the, where'd it go? The plant one, this one. I love this creepy plant one. Both of those are going to be probably my favorite accessory pieces, amongst many. Even the hitchhiking ones are great. The accessories really blew it out of the water for me. That is really, really fun. So, I started being maybe a bit more pessimistic about the Lemax stuff this year, but I gotta be real. It's chalked up to be a great Lemax season, especially when you factor in all of those fantastic accessories and consider what exclusives we're going to get. And if the Cursed Ruins is an indicator of it, I think it's going to be a very solid exclusive release. Heck, maybe I'll do a whole live stream for the exclusives. We'll see. So let's consult the chat before I go and take a look at the favorites here. Graveyard, I'm seeing the Corn Maze and the Plants in the Trees. Phantom Castle from Andrew and the Cursed Ruins. Another Cursed Ruins from Jessica. The Witch Candy House or the Corn Maze. And then the Evil Tree and the Graveyard. Favorite building, Slithering Gardens. Favorite accessory is the truck. And then Anthony Leone joined just to say, hello, it's Hauntformer. Hey! Leon Productions. It's moi. How you doing? Wow. This turned out to be a really exciting stream, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. What do you think? Let me just get some feedback here. How do you feel about the live stream thing? Are you digging it? Do you prefer me doing the more polished videos? I'm open to what you guys have to say. I'm just experimenting with the channel at this point because, and I'm fortunate I have the liberty to. I have the audience enough to be able to do this. And I'm very grateful because of that notion. But you can let me know. What do you think about the chat and the live stream thing? Do you like how I've kind of formatted it? Do you think there are things that would change? Yeah, you always catch me on my streams just as you start to end them. But the good news is I keep them up. And I will add timestamps so you can go back and watch parts you want to watch. So, remember that. I like these types of live streams. Well, that is good to hear. That means a lot. I have to work on the chat box thing a little bit because I realize it's a little wonky, a little funky. I think the live streams, too, are really fun around this time of year. Because you have to realize there aren't as many things to talk about. I guess the exception is, so far for 2024, it's just been a barrage of everything. And I will do a live stream, I think, for, the Trans World stuff. Because I always get around to it, and I usually do a live stream. But now I really can sink my fangs into it. I've gone back and forth about going to Trans World. Haven't made up my mind yet. If I don't this year, then it's a potential next year thing. I got my bug feelers out. Just let me say that. I got my antennae out. I'm considering what I'm going to do for the future of the channel in terms of how I'm going to showcase off the haunt and the things I'm working on, showcase off the Lemax stuff. It's fun. Jessica, I'm glad you had a fun time. Cemetery of Souls says lives are great. I love the new transitions. Oh, I'll show you this. This is something I'm working on. This is not polished yet. I still have to work on it. But take a look at my ghost transition. Ready for this? Here we go. I know it's rough. It's got some fixing I could do with it. I wanted it to be a green screen thing. Like where the ghost pops up and goes, woo, and then it's the next screen already. But I didn't get the chance to fully, play around with it. But I'm working. Streamlabs here, which is what I'm using for the time being. Gives a lot of options, and thankfully they had a little Halloween thing, so that already is something. Yeah, I'm glad it was good. I'm glad it was good timing for everybody. I've been trying to do these streams at an appropriate time. Yes, Anthony, I promise jump scare warning next time. But, yeah. Lemax, baby. Lemax is back and is exciting. it's crazy that we get to see this stuff this early. We can really plan out our little villages for as maybe unimportant as they are. They're important to us, and I think that's really what counts. I really dig a lot of these new pieces. A lot of them are really growing on me. I really do like that corn maze. I do think there are going to be, though, some really exciting exclusives, so stay tuned for those. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? As much as I don't want to leave, this stream's been about an hour and a half of talking about porcelain Halloween stuff, and it's your Saturday night. Go out and make it a spooky one, dang it. Make it a fun one. And I thank you, each and every one of you. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you all in the next video or live stream, whichever one comes first, depending what I can do between now and Trans World Talk. But I will see you in the next live stream. As always, my friends, my fiends, stay spooky, stay blessed, stay spooky-towned. That's not a thing. Forget I scratched that. Bye, you guys. And remember, for all things Halloween, this is hauntformer. I realize that said ending soon and not ending. I really should get one that just says ending.